Hello everyone, it's Events Body again with another video. In the last video I told you that I will be discussing overtraining, and if we are overtraining or if it's just a lazy factor in our lives. Are we really overtraining or not? Does it exist? What are the signs of overtraining? Irritability, loss of appetite, insomnia, increased chance of injury, increased rate of injury, prone to being sick, prone to viral infections, low sex drive, and basically just feeling run down. Those signs are signs of overtraining, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're overtraining. Okay, having insomnia doesn't mean that you're overtraining straight away. Okay, you might have had coffee, you might have had excessive amount of caffeine. Okay, you might have been stressed at work and whatnot. Okay, so that's one example. Okay, that you cannot just immediately connect it to your training. The last thing you should be doing is cutting your training out. Okay, the first thing you should be doing is asking yourself, are you having enough good calories in your diet? Is your nutrition right? Be honest with yourself. Is your water intake enough? Are you taking enough water? Your supplementation. Are you drinking all night, every night, on Saturdays, Sundays, partying out, and then blaming overtraining for it? You got to be honest with yourself. Are you being lazy? Are you being lazy to train, to push your body to the limit where you feel like you can't push anymore, but you still do it? Or you're going to just give up? Okay, you got to ask yourself that as well. So the last thing you should be doing is saying, I will cut my training out. Now, I'm not saying that you can't overtrain. If your nutrition is in check, if your water intake, your rest, and everything else is in check, and you're still feeling like that, you're still feeling demotivated, you're still increasing your injuries, time to maybe rest. But these days, in this day and age, with all the supplementation, like for example the citrulline malate that I was talking about, the increased recovery rate, the nutrition, the knowledge in rest and everything else, it's very, very hard to overtrain. Now, just because you feel sore doesn't mean you're overtraining. Doesn't mean, just because you're sore doesn't mean that you can't hit that body part again. That's not overtraining. Okay, so you got to be honest with yourself. Another thing you got to understand is that you gotta have some knowledge in how the body works. Okay, and this is why I'm here to explain a couple of things that you should know in terms of the recovery, and in terms of the protein uptake by the muscles and everything else. Some people will say to you that they're training once a week because if they're training any more than once a week, they will degenerate the muscle will not recover, and it won't grow, so they're waiting for the full recovery of the muscle tissue before they train again. When I was young, when I first started, that's what I thought. I thought, you got to train once a week, and if you're training more than once a week, you're overtraining, which is complete nonsense. Okay, your full recovery, okay, the muscle full recovery on a cellular level happens after 14 days. 14 days. That is 2 weeks. Are you waiting 2 weeks to train? Okay. Are you gonna wait for your bicep workout in the 2 weeks time, or a tricep, or anything else? No. Okay. So waiting for a week doesn't give you the full recovery. So that theory is out the window. Some people will say to you that muscle soreness stops them from training. I used to think that, if I'm feeling sore, I shouldn't train, because if I train on the sore muscle, I will stagnate the growth. Again, not true. The only reason why you're sore is that the connective tissue has some micro damage. The connective tissue that binds the muscle fibers together, there's some micro damage there, and the muscle is sending signals to you that there's something going on. Okay, science tells us that after 24 to 48 hours, it's safe to do it again. Okay, so it's safe to train the muscle while it's sore. And I'm not saying if you can't move that muscle, if it's so inflamed you know, you're a beginner and it got inflamed, or you've done something new that your body wasn't getting used to it, and all of a sudden you can't barely move. I'm not saying do it again, but you can do some active recovery. You can do some water activities. You can do some cycling to increase the blood flow to it, and increase the chances of recovery. But in a normal sense, in a normal case scenarios, after 48 hours, there should be no reason why you shouldn't be hitting that body part. And I'm not saying that you have to do it, but if it's your lagging body part, if that's the body part that you want to improve on, do it. Okay, you got to do it more often. You can't just expect once a week and get results. I mean, some body parts will grow. Some people will grow from once a week. But I'm talking about you guys, if you're having a generally weak body part, if something is lagging, and if you want to maximize your growth, and I'm talking about optimal growth, you got to hit it more than once a week. And if you don't have time to hit it once a week, once is enough. Okay, I'm not saying that you can't grow from once, but optimally more than once a week is best. Now, the reason why you should be hitting it every 24 to 48 hours is because your protein uptake by the muscle, which is the synthesis of protein, is the highest up to 48 hours from that workout. And that is because ribosomes, the chemical messengers that send the signals to your body to uptake more protein by the muscle, is the highest at that level. After 48 hours, the ribosome activity decreases and the synthesis of your protein decreases. So scientifically, if you want to keep that up, you got to do it every 48 hours. You got to hit that body part more often, so you are uptaking that protein more often. Okay, and it's and this is why anabolic steroids, for example, you know, people grow really good on it, is because the synthesis of your protein is increased the whole time. Okay, now you can aid that by doing every 48 hours you should be hitting that body part again. It's not overtraining, it's just basically science. If you are having your protein intake right, if you are having rest, your adequate water intake, your supplementation like citrulline malate, as we just spoke about, increasing your chances of recovery is great. Okay, so there's a really slim chance of you overtraining. So that being said, look into that. Look into your nutrition first. Look into your supplementation, your rest, and everything else before you cut your training out. Just remember, it is very, very hard to overtrain. Every time you think you're overtraining, just pull yourself together and say, am I really overtraining, or am I lazy, or something else is missing? Okay? And that's about it. Okay? Now, if you want to find out more, I will post the link on ribosomes down below in the comment section, in the description section. If you want to ask me more questions, you can ask me more questions, just comment below. If you want to subscribe, and I'll be coming out with new videos. And if there is something that you want me to discuss, please let me know, and I'll gladly do that. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you soon.